Hello, it is Thursday, September 10th, 2020. My name is Carla Hartley, and I am coming to you from Ventura County, California, where I manage a family law firm. So, in a previous video, I have discussed income available for support. I am continuing that today with a discussion of independent contractors. Previously, I have categorized wages or income that people receive by how they earn it, by the people that are getting this income. This, your W-2 employee, that one's easy. We covered that already. Today I'm covering independent contractors. These are generally people who may describe themselves as self-employed, and that may be with perfect accuracy. They're often paid by 1099s, sometimes by cash, and these are also people that tend to have a few clients but no employees. That's the group of people I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about the small business owner or the large business owner. I'm talking about your basic independent contractor that's got multiple clients that they service. So I'm not going to talk about AB5 and how it might affect this segment today. That is not the focus. The focus of this video is how do we find out what these people are actually earning when it's time to go to court and get a support order or a fee order or etc. So most independent contractors work for a number of different people. I can give you good examples of this. A bookkeeper might work for a limousine company, a hairdresser, an attorney, and a real estate agent. 10 hours a piece, and she's got 4 clients. She's making decent money as an independent. Probably all of these people for her would be paying her by a 1099 or be paying her with checks and reporting it as a 1099 later. We have window cleaners. Some window cleaners would have 4 large clients, and some window cleaners might have 60 small clients that they go to every other month. It just depends. And I would really want to be clear with, I'm not talking about people that have employees right now. One employee, maybe it's kind of easy, but employees change how people report. So I'm not going to give you an exhaustive list of everyone who could possibly be an independent contractor. That would be a bit ridiculous and quite impossible. So what I do want to focus on is how do we find out what these people are earning when it's time to come up with a support order. We start with the tax return. I say we start with the tax return, but we generally don't finish with the tax return. The great weakness of the tax return is it depends on people being honest if we're going to use that for income available for support. That's the great weakness. The second weakness of the tax return is that generally there's a lot of stuff that is deductible for tax purposes that is not deductible from the gross income when you're talking about coming up with a support order. An example of this would be the home office. The home office is something that you can write off on your taxes, but you cannot write it off when you're dealing with income available for support, which is kind of unfair because if you have an office that you're paying for outside of your home, that is a valid deduction from your gross income. And for not just taxes, but also for income available for support. So I hope you're getting the idea that you want somebody experienced looking at this stuff. So then if we have somebody that's not honest on their tax returns, or the tax returns are not, exhaustive, don't give us everything we need to look at, we're talking about doing some discovery. Bank records are the place to start. You want to make sure that you get all of the bank records for all of the accounts, and you want not just, a 3-month picture, you want to look at a wider picture and get a good sampling of what the earnings going through these accounts are. Because, money that goes into a bank account is money that has usually been earned or received in some way and can be calculated. I'm not going to talk about passive income because I'm staying on focus. So the next thing we want to look at is credit cards. Because, say you know that your guy or your opposing party works at one particular bank. I'm not going to mention a particular bank. And then you get all the accounts from there, and you're not getting a really complete picture. Well, that's where the credit cards become helpful, Because you look at the credit cards and you will often find that, somebody has made a payment to the credit card or to one of the credit cards from a different bank account. Now you go after that bank account. Often that account has been undisclosed by the other party, and now you're in a position where you're getting a better idea of how much income they've got transiting their accounts. Cash apps have become, over certainly since COVID, a much more influential part of trying to get this picture. We are looking at, subpoenaing records for Venmo, subpoenaing all sorts of cash applications. There are too many of them, again, to just mention here. And the subpoena process with some of them is a little bit complicated because not all of them are registered with the Secretary of State in California and therefore easy to serve. So we then want to look at the expenses that they have for their personal life, because if they're reporting that they make $3,000 a month, but they have $7,500 in personal expenses that are being met and we're not seeing additional debt, then we need to look at this and figure it out. So usually we're not looking for an expert with this category of independent contractor, but sometimes we are. And it's going to depend on the facts and the lifestyle the parties enjoyed before they started filing income and expense declarations. For instance, we get an income and expense declaration from a person who says that he's working as a plumber, but he only makes $3,000 a month. But the parties have acquired a couple of different houses and at least, one commercial property. We got really nice vehicles. You can't do that on $3,000 a month. There's no way, not unless you're really, really leveraged or making a lot more money than that. So if we're looking at something like that, we may, depending on the size and scope of the business, have to engage an expert. Now, that's an example of when I probably would be looking at engaging an expert, because it would be cost effective. It would be cost effective in that circumstance to look at an expert and get this going. You have got to gauge this. You've got to have this discussion with your client about the cost benefit of engaging the expert. This is vitally important. And if you are a potential client and you're looking at this, you need to talk to the attorney that's about to take your case or that you're about to hire and get an idea of their continuing legal education on the issue of businesses, income available for support, and I would say discovery as well. Evidence and discovery are always important parts of a case. And I would say that you also are going to want to ask them about their experience with this. It's we can't, attorneys can't give you names of prior clients. That's not permissible. That's a breach of our duty of confidentiality. But you should be able to have a good discussion with the attorney and figure out if they know what needs to be done on your case. So that's all I have for today. I hope this has been helpful, and I do hope to be seeing you back next week. I'm going to continue next week probably with self-employed people that do have employees. Have a good afternoon, have a good week, and we'll see you soon.